Gato Perro back with another video. Today in the middle of the ring we got the classic superstars LWO WWE shop exclusive Eddie Guerrero and the JAKKS best of WCW Rey Mysterio. So I recently purchased both of these figures, and anyone who's even a slight wrestling fan knows where I'm going with this, but if you don't, Eddie and Rey had this legendary match at Halloween Havoc. I think it might have been 1997. And needless to say, they stole the show. They had probably one of the best matches in WCW or Cruiserweight history. And there's about 3 different ways you can have figures that represent that. And these are the JAKKS forms in the Ruthless Aggression body style. There are dedicated deluxe classics for that moment, but I will go into why I believe these might be the superior versions of those. So we'll take a look at Rey's box first. As you can see, Rey comes in a simplistic box, which is pretty odd for JAKKS standards because they usually go a lot with a bunch of jagged edges and stuff, but pretty simplistic with WCW at the top and almost another banner on the sides, Rey on the bottom. Turn it over to the back. We also got a best of ECW line and the rest of the best of WCW line. This one also with another Eddie, but that one's more of his, I guess would be like what, like 96 Eddie, as well as the title belt and the stunt action ring. Then Eddie comes in an even more simplistic box because it's really tiny and rectangular. And you know what? I actually really like how these look. These are the boxes they use for the exclusive shop ones. So you can see it has a little modern day, well back then, modern day picture of Eddie on the side. LWO, and it does have the classic Superstars logo up top. Turn it over to the back, and it's just a picture of the figure, and it has his stats. He's 5'8", 220 pounds, signature moves, the Rock Splash, and Lasso from El Paso. So really cool Eddie. I really decided to pull the trigger on this one because, I don't know. I guess I never had the idea in mind to buy these 2 figures to recreate that moment. So let's take a closer look at Eddie and Rey out of the box. Here we got Rey and Eddie out of the box, and I got them facing each other for a reason. Because my first topic I want to talk about is scaling. Now JAKKS wasn't really known for scaling their figures to how real world people would scale, especially not with the deluxe classics or the deluxe aggression figures. Maybe a little more so with the Ruthless Aggression figures, but not as much. But anyway, as I was saying, so I'm going to be comparing these a lot to their deluxe classics counterparts. So as you can see on this picture over to the right, as you can see, Rey kind of almost towers or is about the same size as Eddie, but because he has a bigger head, it just looks like he's a little bit taller. And I just can't do that. If I were to have them in a display, I don't know, I just can't do that, which is why I didn't want to go with the deluxe classics. As you saw in the box, Eddie's 5'8", Rey's what, like 5'6", so there's 2 inches, they're 2 inches apart, so it's not like Eddie has that much over him, but I do think that they should be around the same scale. And I think these look great together. So I think in talking about differences between the deluxe and these Ruthless Aggression styles, I'll go ahead and talk about Rey first because there's a lot more differences with those 2 figures representing the same nights. So the 2 main differences with the head, at least, there is no eyeshadow or face paint underneath the mask on the deluxe classics. It's just flesh tone color, whereas this one does have it. And another one is that the deluxe classic seems to have a rip over here, or at least a painted on rip on the mask on top of the left eye. And of course, during the match, Eddie basically destroyed the mask. He was ripping it apart. And I get that the figure's trying to represent that, but to be honest, I didn't know that from looking at these pictures until I looked at various ones, and I realized that that's how he came in the box. At first, I thought that was just a scratch on the figure itself, but that's supposed to represent the battle ravage of the match itself. And so I'm thinking, you know, if it doesn't have the face paint, of course it's going to come off over the course of the match. So I could let it slide, but I do prefer a much more cleaner style for the head scan or for the face paint underneath. So I do like that this one has the black underneath. As you can see, it does have the golden crown up top, the winged eagles on the sides. It does have the silver over here halfway through the mask. It does also have the skull on the back, which really surprised me. I will say the one detail that neither this or the deluxe classics have, but the Elite Collection do, is that he's supposed to have like these gauntlets with the same winged eagles over here on the side of the wrists, but he does not have it. Another inaccuracy that this one does have this figure in my hand compared to the deluxe and even the elite collection is the color of this diamonds designs right here, as well as one of the belts. They are supposed to be a gold color, but I will say I don't mind that they're silver because I do like that they play along with the color of the mask up top, but it is inaccurate to the outfit that he wore. And he does have the question marks on the side of his tights and that weird kind of thong-like design that he had. Doesn't look so bad in this figure because it looks like he has like regular trunks on, and he has kick pads. So for the body mold that JAKKS used for this, I really do like how it turned out, and is probably, in my opinion, the best representation of Rey Mysterio's Halloween Havoc match for me, at least. Of course, the Elite Collection is much more accurate and detailed. You know, they can have like separate parts that they can mold and add on to the wrist to make it more accurate, but me being kind of the JAKKS stickler that I am, this is definitely my go-to Rey for Halloween Havoc. You would know it from my videos, but I've been on a giant Eddie Guerrero figure craze this entire year. Of course, I've been mostly reviewing my Undertakers, but I've bought up so many Eddie Guerrero figures. It's insane, and he's literally, like, I'll say now, like, my top 3 wrestlers of all time. I'd say Taker, Jeff, and Eddie are definitely the top 3. But Eddie's just awesome. I've been watching a lot of his old matches again, watching a lot of documentaries. So this is actually not my first WCW Eddie. That one that you saw in the back of the box for the best of WCW Eddie is another one that I bought a long time ago. But I've always wanted one just like this in this outfit. Also reminiscent of his, I don't even know, I guess his Latino Heat Mamacita phase, which is what also you could use this figure for like the Attitude Era. But this Eddie's really cool. It does come with their Cruiserweight Championship. Unfortunately, it is the WWE style Cruiserweight Championship and not the WCW style. Not really a big deal. I'm not really going to display him with it. But I could use it for other Reys in my display. So that's cool. And obviously it does come with a soft goods shirt, which unfortunately did stain minor areas of the arms. It is a little hard to see, but it's here on the arms, somewhat in the front, but thankfully it's not a big deal. I do plan to keep it on him, but even if I didn't, it doesn't look like he stained the torso at all. It does have some Velcro on the side, and of course, really nice clean design on the front with the Latino World Order, looking really nice. And of course, let's look at the tights because that's the main thing to take from this figure in order to call it the Halloween Havoc Eddie. So from what I can tell, I don't know what kind of design that is, but it looks cool and it looks accurate. I'll post some pictures over here on the side so you guys can compare and see that this is the Halloween Havoc Eddie. It does have his old style boots that he used to have with the gold going down the middle with the black laces. And he does even have the detail of white soles. So really cool. I would really expect JAKKS to just have that all be black. But really sweet that they decided to go with that extra little paint detail. And again, I really like this head scan. Really personifies Eddie. He was a little bit meaner back then. He wasn't really as humorous, but I really do like that smile that he has. And they did reuse this head sculpt again for the Deluxe Classics. Not much of a difference between this one and Deluxe Classics in terms of like design with the paint. So really cool Eddie. He is about $75 is what I paid for him. I don't know if you could maybe find him for a better price. At the time I looked for it, I kind of varied between 75, 100, and maybe 150. So of course I took the $75 price point. Rey, a little bit easier to come by. He was $33, instant buy, of course. So I think in the end, these are much more of a money saver as opposed to going for the Deluxe Classics, because that box set is expensive for whatever reason, and I get it, but that thing goes for like, I'd say $150, and then I see it at $300, $500, and even $800. Or what you could do is you could track down the new, well, it's not new anymore, but the Elite Collection version of this Rey. I'll post a picture because I don't remember what series it's from. And then there's also a Hall of Fame Eddie that you could get in the Elite Collection style, which is not necessarily this version of Eddie. I think that's more WWE style, and I think the colors might be inverted, but the look is close enough to where you can pull it off and call it your 1997 Halloween Havoc match. So really cool figures. I do recommend them if JAKKS is your thing and you really like that match in particular. But I really just wanted to talk about these because no one else did on YouTube. Trust me, I try to look up figure reviews before I buy stuff, And if I don't see them, I'm going to do the video myself. So, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more reviews and even stop motions. If you haven't seen it yet, check out Kane versus Eddie Guerrero in the first ever match in Gato Perro Wrestling. Thank you guys for watching. Gato Perro.